Hi there. Now, let's see, I'm just getting reconfigured here with where things are. Like, okay, there's the camera. All right, very good. Hi. So, I am going to start a little memoir discussion period here, and I'm just going to get this started. This is my first video, and I think my primary motivation, well, I guess I've got a lot of motivations, but primarily my interest is in improving my ability to speak. And I just want to get some practice doing that. And I think I also want to sort of develop a kind of memoir system, a kind of personal journal of self exploration. And so I don't expect to get any subscribers. In fact, that's not really the purpose of this endeavor. My main purpose is simply to sort of come to grips with my current thinking about certain subjects and just help me figure out what's going on in the world and in my mind. And so I'm looking forward to going through some areas of interest for me. Recently, I um, started reading a book called, oh boy, if I can remember what the book's called, that would be nice. It was called Feeling Great by David Burns. And I don't know if you remember, but there was a book published a long time ago in the self help genre called Feeling Good by David Burns. And I never did read it, but I scanned through it a few times and I really liked the content of it. Pretty much it seemed like a cognitive behavioral therapy manual of some sorts. And it had a lot of CBT ideas in it. And I appreciated it for that and honored and respected that book, um, what I read in it, but it didn't necessarily enthuse me greatly. But when Feeling Great came out with by David Burns, I guess it's his. I don't know how many books he's got, but it certainly was a subsequent book. I decided that I wanted to read it, and I'm about 30% of the way through the book right now, and I really like it. It's I think one of the most important ideas in it right now that I'm reading has to do with how people's emotional expressions are really expressions of their values. And also these, well, let's call shadow emotions like anger and fear um, and sadness, those emotions that are quite often characterized as being sort of less than optimal emotions or negative emotions. Um, I really appreciate how David Burns characterizes them as being just an expression of one's values and also an expression of what's good about the other person, what's great about them, their personality strengths. And I love that perspective. And I think it's really powerful. And I really want to get around this idea of thinking of fear, anger, and sadness as being negative thoughts. I think calling them negative thoughts has a, well, it certainly has a negative connotation. And I think it's probably undeserved. I mean, it's deserved in some respects in that those feelings cause emotional pain. And so there's a reason for people to avoid them. But I think that they have a really strong utility. For example, um, if a person has just ended a romantic relationship and they feel angry, naturally, that's a very useful emotion to feel because um, anger is an emotion that separates. It separates people and separates bonds, emotional bonds, relationship bonds, and that's very useful if you're breaking up with someone. Um, And so you need to have that anger. That anger is really important. It's part of your emotional management, emotional upkeep, and it's how you are able to move forward from a broken relationship. You know, you need those separation emotions to sort of create that separation. You know, certainly if you were really tightly bonded in a romantic relationship. So, you know, anger is very useful. Sadness is also quite useful because, again, it also separates people emotionally, you know, because quite often it's sadness happens as the result of loss. And, you know, I can imagine a mind needing separation and using anger and sadness emotions to create to create that separation, or even allow for that separation, allow for acceptance of the separation. So anyway, anger and sadness, at least in those respects, are very useful. And the same is true with fear. Fear is extremely useful, very utilitarian. It protects people from being ostracized in their group. It protects people's health, protects their financial interests. Fear is really important, and it serves an important role in people's lives. And you know, I think it's unfair to characterize fear as a negative emotion, because it's very, well, certainly it is painful. You know, it creates awareness, thoughtfulness, um, but and in that process, it also protects. It creates security, and is an expression of that value of security. So anyway, I just want to get across this idea that I'm really appreciating how David Burns is translating these formerly negative emotions into, well, he's laying open the door for us to consider these emotions as being really powerful, important parts of people's value expressions. Well, anyway, I think with that, I'm going to take a little break. I just got back from the gym, which means that I bicycled to the gym, and then I swam in the pool, then had a dip in the hot tub, and then swam in the pool again. Did some laps. Then I did a shoulder workout, and after that, rode the bike back home. And so I'm a little fatigued right now. So I think I'm going to take a little break, a little mental and emotional break right now, and slow down a little bit. But I did just wanted to test this out, this idea that I had about producing a memoir, and, you know, in my spare moments here and there, doing my best to help me sort of get more practice expressing what's important to me and expressing what's on my mind, and giving me a little bit of an outlet to help me hone these expressions, so that I can be a better communicator, and that I can be sort of operate at a deeper level when I communicate with others. All right, great. So I'll talk to you later, whoever my audience is, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.